Hey there everyone, this is the Septet, and I'm here to talk today about a disturbing trend in video games. I recently read an article on Penny Arcade about game developers being told that they can't have female protagonists, and that female characters can't share the cover with whatever version of standard video game character McGee is currently their protagonist. Needless to say, I, like many others, were a bit perturbed at this news. Some of the greatest games of all time have had female protagonists, across all genres, like Amaterasu from Okami, Queen Maya from Summoner 2, Bayonetta from her eponymously titled game. Hell, GLaDOS is practically the main character of Portal. She's certainly more of a character than Chell, but neither of them are on the cover of the sequel. Instead, we get the fucking robots from the co-op campaign, while GLaDOS and Chell are relegated to the back of the box. And of course, the greatest video game character of all time, Samus Aran. Huh? Oh, and my lore informs me that I must mention that Lara Croft is a female protagonist as well. Japanese games fare better in this respect, though they do often have the problem of not knowing who the actual main characters are, with games such as Final Fantasy X and XII being the most egregious examples. Final Fantasy X keeps telling us that it's Tidus's story, but it's really not. It's more Yuna's story than anyone else's, with her quest to become a summoner being far more interesting than Tidus's quest to, play underwater Quidditch? Eternal Sonata is a bit strange in this respect, while having the actual main character Polka being front and center on the box, while the fake main character Frederick Chopin, yes, the Frederick Chopin, it's a weird game, is pushed far into the background. Even Western games are not safe from fake protagonists. Prince of Persia, no, not that one, this one. While we play as the prince, we learn far more about Elika than we do about him, and the only reason he's even in the game is because he got lost. BioShock Infinite is as much Elizabeth's story as it is Booker's, and yet she's relegated to the back of the box while he stands alone on the front, gazing lovingly at his gun. One game that shies away from this is Radiant Dawn from the excellent Fire Emblem series. The protagonist Micah is the actual main character, and she gets to be on the front of the cover. The Fire Emblem series as a whole is quite good character-wise, as every character has a story and they all interact with each other in unique ways. Oftentimes in battle, one of your characters will notice an enemy who happens to be an old rival, a former friend, or even a sibling. And you may even get the chance to convince that enemy to join your cause. Definitely a must-play if you enjoy intricate characters and deep lore. But back to the topic at hand. Why exactly are female protagonists a no-no in game development? Well, the short version can be summed up in two words: executive meddling. The long version is considerably longer. However, the gist of it can be explained thusly. It is a well-known but completely untrue fact that most gamers are male. It is a well-known but completely untrue fact that most males are white. And that is where we get Mr. Standard Video Game Character McGee. An angry, short-haired, 30-ish, Caucasian, bearded male with a dark past. No. So why did they do this? Why make the same character over and over again? Because that's what sells. Why does it sell? Because that's what they sell. Yeah, you heard that right. The publisher's excuse for why they don't want games with female protagonists is that games with female protagonists don't sell as well. They don't sell as well because they don't allow developers to make them, and when they do, they don't advertise them as well as Gunbro 12 Call of Honor. And the reason why nearly all male protagonists have become an amorphous mess is that's what the main characters look like on a couple of games that sold well. It couldn't have been the gameplay or the story, no. It had to be the dude on the front of the box. Another problem that publishers seem to have is sexuality. More specifically, realistic portrayals thereof regarding female characters. The article said something to the effect of, "You can't have a dude like the player kissing another dude. That would be weird." I'm paraphrasing, of course, but you get the idea. Now, whenever I get a game that lets me build my own character, I generally start off as a female character. This is because 90% of the time I'm playing the same character, a woman named Chris from a book I'm writing. As I play the game, I think about how Chris would react to the things that are happening, and how she would treat her enemies and allies. In regards to her sexuality, Chris is a lesbian. I didn't do this because girl on girl is hot, or to be different and edgy. I did this because it seemed like that's who she would be. I've played a fair number of female characters who've been straight, and most of my male characters have been straight. But before I start playing, I think of who the character was, what they were like before I took over. If that means Hrothgar the Mighty is gay, then so be it. I do whatever feels right for the character, because at the end of the day, all I do is swing the sword. Hrothgar is the one doing the talking. So what can we do about this? Well, for one, we can realize that it's happening. Knowledge leads to understanding, and understanding leads to control. Secondly, we can realize that most modern games are just the same thing over and over again, with little to no changes in story or mechanics. We can demand change. We can demand that female protagonists get their time to shine, that important characters get to be on the front of the box where they belong. And most of all, we can demand the heads of jackasses who assassinate Samus Aran just to resurrect her corpse into a character from DOA Beach Volleyball! Look into the camera, look into the camera, look into the camera.